crystallization under volcanic conditions, under plutonic conditions. Sometimes we have some special type of 3D crystals. These crystals they develop regularly and usually with particular crystallographic orientations. Well, these terms include skeletal, dendritic, and embayed crystals. Skeletal सुनते ही आपके माइंड में क्या आता है?
ढांचा.
Yes. Normally in paleontology, अगर आप लोगों ने paleontology पढ़ी है, then अगर आपके पास कोई मोलस्क है, गैस्ट्रोपोड है या
ढांचा स्ट्रक्चर
फिलिसिपोड है, अगर सेडिमेंट्री इन्वायरमेंट में तो किसी जगह पर डिपॉजिट हो टूटकर, तो हम ऐसी जो डेब्रिस होती हैं या जो ऐसे सेडिमेंट्स होते हैं उसको हम कहते हैं स्केलेटल. ओके, लेकिन यहाँ पर जो टर्म यूज हो रही है स्केलेटल की, द टर्म दैट इज यूज्ड हियर फॉर स्केलेटल इज associated with igneous rocks, and it is more like a descriptive term. Normally when the igneous rocks are solidified, sometime they have embayment. Embayment is a place, normally ऐसी टर्म है जिसमें हम ये कहते हैं कि जो सी है वो लैंड के अंदर आ जाए, तो उस एरिया को हम embayment कहते हैं. और यहाँ पर भी ये टर्म ऐसे ही यूज हो रही है कि अगर आपका ग्राउंड मास जो है वो इन द क्रिस्टल आ जाए और क्रिस्टल जो है वो खाली हो, होल हो उसमें, तो ऐसी जगह को हम इम्बेमेंट कहते हैं. ओके, इसी तरह एक टर्म है डेंड्रिटिक. नॉर्मली जो डेंड्रिटिक क्रिस्टल्स हैं they consist of a regular array of fibers sharing a common optical orientation. डेंड्रिटिक बेसिकली जो टर्म है वो यूज होती है कि अगर आप किसी ट्री को देखते हैं तो आप देखते हैं कि ट्री में एक सेटम होता है और उस सेटम के साथ सारी ब्रांचेस और ब्रांचेस से फर्दर आगे ब्रांचेस और आगे ब्रांचेस से फिर आगे लीव्स. तो इस तरह का जो स्ट्रक्चर नजर आएगा आपको उसको हम कहते हैं डेंड्रिटिक क्रिस्टल्स. नॉर्मली जब हम डिस्क्राइब करते हैं थिन सेक्शन जिसमें आपके डेंड्रिटिक या इम्बेड क्रिस्टल्स होते हैं, डेंड्रिटिक या इम्बेड क्रिस्टल्स होते हैं, उसमें मोस्ट चांसेस होते हैं कि आपको दोनों किस्म की स्ट्रक्चर्स मिल सकते हैं. उसमें डेंड्रिटिक भी मिल सकते हैं और स्केलेटल भी मिल सकते हैं. Let's see few examples. It will be more clearer to you when you see the photographs. Here we have a few very different type of crystals. आप देख रहे हैं कि यहाँ पर आपको एक क्रिस्टल नजर आ रहा है जो एक ऐसे लग रहा है जैसे एक स्केलेटल फ्रेगमेंट का पीस है. इसी तरह अगर आप ये पीसेस देखें तो आपको ऐसे लग रहा है जैसे किसी शेल का या किसी मोलस्क का ये पीस है. इसी तरह यहाँ पर कुछ पीसेस हैं. तो इस तरह का जो आपको टेक्सचर नजर आता है वो आप उसको स्केलेटल कहते हैं. यहाँ पर ये जो आपको नजर आ रहे हैं मोस्टली दे आर ओलिविन्स. और एक टर्म आप बार बार सुन रहे होंगे, पिक्रिटिक बेसाल्ट. पिक्रिटिक बेसाल्ट जो है एक ऐसी टर्म है जो यूज की जाती है बेसाल्ट के लिए, ऐसे बेसाल्ट के लिए जो ओलिविन के अंदर रिच हो, उसको हम कहते हैं पिक्रिटिक बेसाल्ट. ओके, this term is very important and we have been using this term in a few, so I thought maybe I should explain it. Okay, and then we have the large crystals in the rock or olivine, and it shows a different shape in section. Some are complex skeletal crystals, elongate yellow crystals on the left. Others are relatively simple skeletons, equant orange crystals, middle right, and yet others have only small embayments. यहाँ पर अगर आप देखें तो आपको बहुत से crystals नजर आ रहे हैं that have embayment. So this place, ये जो जगह आपको नजर आ रही है जिसमें ग्राउंड मास इस फ्रैक्चर से या इस ओपनिंग से ग्राउंड मास अंदर आ गया, and then this feature we normally call it embayment. embayment, यहाँ पर भी आपको थोड़ी सी embayment नजर आ रही है कि जो ग्राउंड मास है वो क्रिस्टल के अंदर चली गई है, that is the embayment. And the overall shape that you see, like these debris, they look like skeletal debris. Well, we use these terms for these type of thin sections. Here we have another example of olivine, and you can see some of these crystals, like they look like the shape of small skeletal fragments. Here as well, this looks like a mollusk. अगर आपने कभी mollusk का thin section देखा है, so it looks very similar. And now we have the euhedral. euhedral याद है आप लोगों को क्या होता है euhedral?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So euhedral crystals, the crystals occupying the bulk of the picture, and has a complex interior form, and you see some of these ground mass is already inside the crystal, and it gives an appearance of an embayment. And overall, this is a large crystal made up of small olivine crystals, and it's a specific texture term. Then we see another example. You see these rods are look like brush. आपने कभी ब्रश देखा है जो ब्रश नॉर्मली मदर्स यूज टू क्लीन द रूम लाइक द रूफ, बिल्कुल उस तरह की इसकी अपीयरेंस है. I don't know the specific name for that, but it looks like that. And we have और इंटरेस्टिंगली इस थिन सेक्शन के हवाले से मैं आपको बताता हूँ कि दैट थिन सेक्शन इज एक्चुअली कूल्ड इन द लाइब्रेरी, सॉरी laboratory. So they made this rock in the lab, and how they did it, they just like melted the basalt and then cooled it. Okay, I think the mic of somebody is open. All the I think forgot to. Here we go again. You see these are basically olivine crystals, and you see this shape. अगर आप किसी ट्री को देखें तो आपको ट्री ऐसे ही नजर आएगा. अगर आप स्मॉलर स्केल पे देखें तो नीचे एक उसका आपको मेन सेटअप नजर आएगा, and then you will see the branches of leaves coming out of that particular place. It is a result of scientists or the petrographers think that this type of texture comes when there is very rapid cooling और आपके पास ज़्यादा टेम्परेचर ना हो, एकदम जो है वो टेम्परेचर फॉल कर जाए और आपके पास ज़्यादा ड्यूरेशन ना हो सॉलिडिफिकेशन के लिए, तो ऐसी सूरत में जो टेक्सचर आपके पास बनेगा that will be dendritic. Here we have another example of these type of features, and you can see there is a big crystal present. There is a big crystal present on the right side, and then you see that this crystal also have an embayment, and this crystal, if you see, it also have some alterations, and then this crystal also have some boundary. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. And we have a large agate crystals in the photograph contains a deep embayment filled with the basaltic ground mass. So we have this is a big crystal that is augite, and in this big crystal we have embayment, and in that embayment you can say we have the ground mass. So you can think embayment as an opening जहाँ से जो ground mass है that will come and fill that particular gap. Here was the opening, and then all the ground mass went inside the, and it represents rapid cooling. And remember, जो larger crystal come to the finer matrix, we call them phenocryst. याद है ना term जो हम use करते हैं phenocryst? And this is the ground mass, the fine grained material that surrounds bigger crystal. We normally call it as a ground mass. Okay. Well, this is an example of embayment as well. And then we have another example of embayed quartz, and we can see that this is the boundary of the quartz, and then you can see that how much embayment it has, and you can see that the glassy material actually enters, and it has deeply embayed the quartz crystal. And the example is from the basalt as well, the olivine basalt, और जिसको हमने picritic basalt भी कहा था. And you can see few crystals of pyroxene. You can see this is the pyroxene, and it has the skeletal appearance. It looks like small fragments of shell. Similarly here we have some uh, crystals of pyroxene. Okay. The other small thing that we want to discuss is the parallel growth crystals. And you can see some of these crystals of olivine, they grow parallel. And in 3D क्या होता है कि crystals जो है वो इकट्ठे grow करते हैं, और जब आप उनको कट करते हैं at some angles, you will have a different view. Well, you can see that here we have another two crystals growing side by side, and then when you cut it, you have a different appearance, and when you cut it at a different angle, you will have a different appearance. Let's see what this term means. Parallel growth crystals. The term is applied to an aggregate of elongate crystals of the same mineral whose crystallographic axes are mutually parallel or almost so. Although in thin section, the individual parts of the aggregate may be isolated from one another, in the third dimension, they are probably connected. Normally, they are connected in 3D, but here you cannot see them connected. Like you see one crystal, you see second crystal, third crystal, fourth crystal, and they seems that they are not connected. Like in 3D में, they are connected. Well, these all are olivines, and the elongate olivines near the middle of the photograph and showing blue interference colors. You see we have the blue interference colors, and this example is also from the picritic basalts. Well, all of these textures जो भी हम कर रहे हैं, these are some special type of textures, and these textures are like not common. They are not like day-to-day practice that we see. Okay. Here we have another example of olivine, and okay, we have olivine crystals that are, ये आपको जो नजर आ रहा है blue और purple or violet blue, bluish color, that is all olivine. And then we have some feldspar and pyroxene crystals in between. And you can see जैसे इसकी growth आपको ऐसे लग रहा है जैसे columns के अंदर इसकी growth हुई हुई है. All of these crystals are connected in 3D, and in thin section you just see them separated. Well, we see the description a little bit. This is an example of parallel growth in very coarse grained rock, and he just tells you the sizes. And yes, there is another term that normally we use, because these columns, they have a special texture term. We call it as heresite. Heresite. So heresite is a term that is normally used for rocks having an appearance with the parallel growth of crystals that is in 3D, and as a result of that parallel growth, the crystals, they look parallel when we see it in the thin section. Well, this is a few examples. I think the last we have the sieved texture crystals. Sieve, जैसे आपने देखा होगा कि घर के अंदर we have सीव्स, जब आटा आप लेते हैं, जो कोर्स होता है उसको, उसमें से जब फाइन आटा आपने निकालना होता है, यू यूज सम सॉर्ट ऑफ सीव, जिसको आप आई थिंक छाननी कहते हैं, or you call it something like this, right? So we use normally this type of term. I don't know what you people call it, but that is normally what we say. Okay, so we have sieved texture crystals. These contain abundant small interconnected box-shaped glass inclusions having the crystals in spongy or porous appearance. Well, we see we have a big crystal, and you see आपको इसके अंदर बहुत small small नजर आ रहे होंगे, that we have very small pores or small crystals. So it looks like a spongy, or it looks like a sieve. How it is formed? It is basically a xenocrest, uh, consists of glass and alkali feldspar in a fine mesh-like appearance. The narrow rim is an overgrowth of plagioclase.